Welcome back to another Thursday, you beautiful people. It's time for a gear talk. So, I know I said in the Christmas update video, the Locust versus Swarm video is happening, which it is. I just wanted to clarify in case people are wondering. That doesn't mean it's the next video coming up. It's not going to be coming up for a bit. I got a few things I have to do still. I have classes for becoming a CNA coming up. A lot of other things are happening, but it's going to happen. Trust me. Just give me a moment. Okay. So, if you saw the title, you kind of understand what we're talking about. I don't even think I know what I'm about to talk about. It just came to my head today. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about Gears of War 5, which, by the way, spoiler alert in this video, it's been over a year now, but if anyone hasn't played Gears 5 yet, or done anything with it, or looked into it, or doesn't do Gears at all, this video is not going to be for you, because we're going to go into some, what happened at the end of Gears of War 5 stuff. So, I wanted to talk today about the big bad of Gears of War 5, or what they were going for the main enemy on what it was going to be, because I went through and looked at everything. I currently am about to finish up Gears Tactics. I've played every single Gears game, I've read all the books, and I've come to the conclusion I don't think the Coalition had any goddamn clue who the main bad guy of Gears of War 5 was. Let that sink in for a moment. Really think about that for a moment. Who was the main bad guy in Gears 5? Go ahead. In Gears of War 1, we had a lead up, we had everything. It was General Rom was our main, this was the guy in charge, we were going to fight him. Gears of War 2, oh hey, we've seen the Queen here and there, but we know that the big baddie, the big boss, and the thing we have to deal with the most right now is Scourge. Scourge is our main, the game's led us up to dealing with Scourge. You get Gears of War 3, Myrrah is the final endgame. We understand this finally. It's led into this from Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3. She's riding her Tempest. She's popped in here and there in the game. Myrrah's the main enemy, okay? Following me still? We get to Gears of War Judgment. We now have Karn. We understand Karn is the big bad. We understand he is the main focus we're going after. We understand Karn is the target, okay? Are you still with me so far? Are you still with me on this journey? Okay. Gears of War Tactics. I'm going to jump to Tactics first because this happens really early in the timeline. Tactics. Ukon is the villain. Ukon is what we have to deal with. Ukon is creating these creatures. He's upgrading Brumox and Corpsers to kill all of humanity. We need to take him down. Ukon is the main goal. Okay, now we jump over to the Coalition stuff, which I understand Tactics is over there too, but Tactics is its own thing because they understood what they were doing. Okay, Gears of War 4. This is where it starts to get a bit dubious, but follow with me here. Myrrah, well, at the time, we don't know Myrrah's involved in anything, but at this point in Gears 4, let's go back to when it first came out, something has taken Reyna, okay? Reyna has been taken. Reyna has cut something's hand off, and it's shown that something is leading the swarm, okay? We pick up its hand and we follow through to find the speaker towards the end of the game. Not the last act, but towards the end of the game, we find the person whose hand was taken. We learn that the speaker is able to speak, and by what we can gather, I made a video on it, at that moment, by what we believed, this speaker is the main bad. He is the guy that led everything. He's the guy in charge. We have to kill this guy. Okay. I understand the Hive Beast was the final boss. I get that, but the Hive Beast wasn't running everything. It wasn't what we had to mainly focus. We didn't know the Hive Beast existed till it popped out of the ground. Okay? Are you with me? Are you still with me now? Okay? Who was the big bad in Gears 5? I'll give you some hints. It wasn't the Matriarch. The Matriarch was not the big bad. Yeah, we had to take care of the Matriarch, but the Matriarch was not the main focus we were hunting down or dealing with or leading things, and that was our main, we have to take care of this. That was not it. It wasn't. We just came across the Matriarch, okay? The Wardens were played up to be a big thing, but the Wardens ended up just being like, you need to headshot these things to kill at enemies, okay? So the Wardens aren't a problem. The Kraken. Is the Kraken the main bad of Gears 5? Is that the last thing we fight? Yes, you're right, it is. No argument. 100% you're right. Is this the thing that's leading everything? The main background thing that we have to take out to truly try and cut the head off a snake? No. The Kraken's not. The Kraken's not this big thing that's like the grave mind from Halo that's controlling things. This thing isn't, running the Swarm. The Swarm are leading it. The Swarm have captured this thing. By the look of it, it has taken leeches, dug its way in, and it's pretty much latched themselves on to control this guy, okay? This Kraken, possibly one of the other 3 Riftworms, I have no clue. That's another video for another day. Yeah, guess what? He's not in charge. He's not. The second time we fight him is at the end of the game. So they had to recycle us fighting the Kraken a second time. And people will say like, oh, well, it's a huge creature. It had to be taken down more than once or something had to be done. I get that. But there's no weight being carried in when the Kraken shows up a second time. There's no gravitas. Like, this thing's huge, we need to kill it. That's it. This thing didn't kill one of our squad. This thing didn't, turn out to be the thing pulling the strings in the back. None of it. None of that. You're going to say, well, that's because it was being led by Myrrah/Reyna and Myrrah inside Reyna's body because of everything. No. Well, yes, it was being led by that, but no. That doesn't make it the big bad. There was no big bad in Gears 5. There wasn't. There was nothing. You know what? Let's take this further for a moment. This is more of a rambling instead of a discussion, but understand where I'm coming from and see where I'm speaking about this. Let's go even further in, okay? Let's go even further into this. Let's put DLCs into this now, okay? And I don't really consider Judgment Aftermath a DLC, really. I consider it an extension. That's a conversation for another time. That's just how I perceive it. Say what you will, okay? Anyway, think about this. Think about this for a moment, okay? Shadow of Rom. Rom is the big bad. Rom is what we have to deal with. Rom is what has to be taken out or dealt with so that we can get out of there. The Hivebusters DLC. You're going to say, oh, the Swarm and Locust weren't the big bad. It was the Wakatu. Guess what? The Wakatu is a bigger thing, had a better lead in anything than the goddamn Kraken in 5. It's all one act, so understand, this is all just chapters in an act instead of a full-blown game. But understand this. The Kraken, we get that when we get to Bhaskar, right? Or I can't remember I'm such in a fit right now, I can't remember. But we get to the desert. That's like Act 4. 1, 2... Yeah, we're in Act 3 or 4 at this point dealing with it, okay? It's been a while since I played the campaign, I'm sorry. But we deal with it at the desert, right? That's past the halfway point. We've already dealt with the Matriarch. It's gone. This thing that was connected to Myrrah, the first of its kind berserker we're to believe, is dead. And gone. And now we deal with a giant worm, okay? In the Highbuster DLC, the first time we're getting out of there, we're dropped in this place and we need evac. We see something coming through the trees. What is that? It's throwing acid. We still don't know what it is. Later on, we're like, we need to go, after the mission goes under, you're like, we need to go find this thing. The venom's not potent enough. We need to hunt down whatever was shooting this. So you go over to the Southern Island tribe to see if they know, only to learn about this ritual for the Wakatu. And you have to learn about, it's really an actual beast. It's not an urban legend. It's not a myth. It's real. And then you finally fight the thing, and you have sympathy for it in the end when no one died, and you're just like, this thing had a better lead-in. This thing was the final boss of the game, and I still was more intrigued with the lead-in for this by a story perspective than whatever Gears 5 had going for their enemies. There were 2 big bads, if you really had to think about it, big bads, bosses. The Matriarch, the Kraken, and you fought that thing twice. There is no, leadership that takes the role of this thing has to be killed in order for us to have a reprieve breather. No, their leader, Reyna, is still alive. Reyna just goes in, chokes out 2 boys, you choose who lives, click, you're dead, your neck's gone, bye-bye, okay, I'm out ski. That's it. That's it. You don't fight Reyna. You don't try and cut the head off the figurative snake instead of the giant snake attacking. No. I don't consider the Kraken to be final boss, big bad material. Well, you'll say, oh, well, what about the Hive Beast in 4? Here's the thing. That was brought out as a last line of defense from the Swarm out of nowhere, just comes out of the ground. We didn't even know this thing existed until it pops out. We had no clue. But still, the Kraken we know about, we deal with it in the desert, it comes back, and we have to do it again. There's nothing that makes me feel like this creature deserves like a big battle, just slobber knocker. I'm glad like no one died during the Kraken when it came back. Well, you could say, oh, well, you know, JD or Dell. No, that was because of Reyna. The Kraken didn't kill anyone of the main cast. Cole was in danger, but Cole didn't die. Thank God, because if this thing would have killed a main character or a side character that we knew well, I would have been pissed the hell off. This creature that's literally just brought back so we have something to fight at the end of the game has no real reason, story-wise, to be there. Now, if that thing would have come by and like all the other characters are fighting it, dealing with it, shooting off railguns, you have to help out with that, while you have another boss fight going on. Let's say it is Reyna. You know, like you have to fight Reyna, and Reyna doesn't have to die. She doesn't have to. Straight up, you could just fight Reyna, the health goes completely out, or something happens, Reyna's gone, and it's kind of just like, well, she's not gone, she's just injured, and she's like, you've made your choice. And then she like slithers away and she's gone, okay? And then, you know, she's still alive, the Kraken's dead at this point because everyone else took care of it, or you can have the final killing of the Kraken, at least throw Reyna as a boss fight in there somewhere, or something. You know, Gears 4, people argue about the speaker, like this character really didn't carry much, even though this was the thing that abducted Reyna, you know, got its hand sliced off, and that's how they were able to track it. Riding the first Swarmac we ever see, you can't kill it unless you're hitting these certain nodes with and the electrical shock hits. I understand that and everything, but it's just like, he at least had lead up from the story. You understood this character, as far as we knew at the time in 4, is what's leading everything. He's the alpha. He's the Chad amongst Chads of the Swarm Scions. But you don't get that feeling in 5. There's nothing leading these guys to make you think like, oh yes, this is the thing we have to kill in order for their troops to really get disorientated, or something to happen, or to cut a connection with a hive mind, or something. There's nothing. There's the Kraken. Jack has to, you could say, now that I think about it, oh, Jack died doing that. We don't know if Jack's dead or not, okay? Sacrificed himself. We never see a body at the end. We don't know what's up with Jack. I hope Jack's not dead, because that means he would have killed himself to take on the Kraken, which is badass on Jack's part. I'll give that to Jack. But you had nothing else going for you with the Kraken. That's like saying in Gears of War 2, you never fight Scourge. You never have a fight with Scourge. And for some reason, like, you slicing through the Riftworm, taking out its hearts and the little beasts inside of it, and cutting your way out with that little mini cutscene where it dies, that's the boss fight. That's it. You get nothing else. Scourge, whatever with him. He'll come up in the next game, or, like, you know, he's just around and you never fight him. 2 would lack so much, like, bravado and credit that it already has. People can say what they want about the boss fights here and there, but Gears of War has decent boss fights. You know, the Leviathan boss fight was good. It was a good idea of how to do it with the grenade tossing and everything. You know, the Hive Beast, as much as people want to say, I enjoyed the Hive Beast fight. You know, the Kraken fight, I wasn't the biggest fan of the second time because it just felt recycled. The first time, I didn't really mind it because I'm like, this is the first time we'll fight the Kraken. You know, fighting Scourge was fun because he's bouncing around the whole place. Rom was hell itself trying to beat, and that was the point because he's General goddamn Rom. You know, Myrrah, you're trying, it's a complete cluster with Myrrah in a good way. You've got Lambent running around. You've got goddamn locusts everywhere, popping in everywhere. You've got her riding around on a Tempest, just shooting lasers. You know, you've got Adam trying to start off a bomb that's going to just, not even a bomb, but the device that'll just encircle the globe. You know, you're in the middle of all of that. That's like, holy hell. Oh, even Karn, he's like shooting off everything. He's got his Boltok, he's shooting from the top. Shibboleth is going nuts. You know, you've got other locusts coming in to back him up. You know, and it's just, Ukon is just reviving everything. You shoot him in the head, he's fine. Arm gets lobbed off, he just grows another back, and it's like, go ahead, bring it. I'm ready to fight. What do you get in 5? Yeah, the speaker was not the best out of all of them. I agree. But at least he had lead-in. He had at least a character, at least somewhat. Even if it was minimal, there was something. The Kraken is a giant worm being led by the Swarm. And the only questions I have is it one of the 3 worms or not? I have no clue. This is more of a rant than anything, but I mean, like, I feel like the message is at least getting across, because I thought about this today, and it really is like, what exactly makes me happy about the boss fights in 5? The Matriarch was a letdown because of how quick it was taken out. The very first of its kind Berserker, and the deadliest as far as we're to believe, you shoot it in the back. The Kraken, this giant worm that's just like, it can kill all of you. You know, this sand serpent of death and destruction. Alright, I torched its goddamn head with a rocket. The second time, Jack blew it up, and it's dead. That's it. Tell me what else there is. I don't know. Like, a storytelling perspective, it just didn't feel right. And I understand this isn't like, this is more of a rant than a discussion, but I feel like it's kind of a mix of both when I bring up everything. At least, like, if I'm to say this in a more clear aspect right now, you know. And again, like, I'm very passionate about it. I'm not really, like, ticked off, like, oh, what the hell? You know, but if I had to put it in more clear words, I would have to say that Gears 5 was truly a letdown on many aspects. But one of the largest aspects that it was a letdown on was possibly not even the enemies themselves, but how it was handled. You have the Swarm, this secondary coming of the Locusts. You have the leadership that has finally taken hold. A true leader steps up as Myrrah controlling Reyna's body. You know, the hive mind has now seeped in, and Myrrah has returned, pretty much. There is now an actual leader. The Swarm have gotten a hold of this, you know, because in the first game we see this too, like with the speaker and everything. Like, it's kind of theoretically seen that, like, once you have someone in the hive mind, like, you know, the juices are flowing a little better in brains and everything. It's a little bit more powerful. But now that there's a true leader, Myrrah is now taking reign of everything. Armor is being made. Guns are being made. So this is the second coming. This is the big bad that's coming back. They don't have the same numbers as the Locust, but they definitely have the armor and bravado and power to back it up. And all they are able to bust out, and I'm going to count 4 and 5 for this because I'm talking about the Swarm now. They bust out their Scions, which are just the recoming of the literal Locusts. The Alpha Scions, which is like the Speaker or any of them that hold a really high level. Like Wardens are one of them, but Wardens, I don't even want to talk about Wardens with how much they made me sad. What else? You have the Hive Beast. We've only seen one, but by what we saw, it's kind of feasibly possible that that is something that can possibly be around again. It's not like there's just one Hive Beast, I don't believe. They could probably do it again if they wanted. Yeah, that's 4. Let's go on to 5. The Matriarch. Yay. And then you have the Kraken. And you fight it twice, so I'm only counting it once for enemies. That's it. Nothing else. It's just a letdown. And I truly am not the happiest with how it was handled, if that's the best I can say about it. Yeah, I'm sorry this wasn't more of a discussion or anything. It just came to my head today, and it kind of just, like, irked me a little bit when I thought about it. With just like, yeah. We kind of got screwed out of, like, a really good area the story could have went in 5. Like, it could have been really good, but it wasn't. That's all I got. I mean, I know this Gear Talk isn't, like, a lot more of the calm and collective, like, straightforward I do a lot, but, like, it just came to my head today. I haven't let out a Gear Talk in a while, so I thought I would do it. The length is way longer than it should have been for this, but I just had to get it out of my system. I talk a lot. That's going to do it for today with this rambling Gear Talk. I'm hoping I can make some sense of it when I look back on it. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys for making these videos possible. Thank the patrons for making this possible. You know, I'll always have a Gear Talk whenever I can get them out. Right now, it's just a busy time. I want to thank all the new guys that have come, that have joined in and seen the Gear Talks. You guys have been doing amazing. Thank you guys for joining, and welcome to these discussions. You guys have a great one. I'm gonna go, like, take a nap or something and chill out. See you next time.